Welcome back to MidPoint from Rogers State University in Oklahoma, military historian David Ulbrich. Professor, before we move any further, I just want to point out, and I mentioned Americans, but there were British also involved in the Battle of the Bulge, correct?
Yes, they would have been a little bit north of the American position under Bernard Law Montgomery, but eventually some 700,000 or 800,000 Allied soldiers did participate in the Bulge as George Patton was driving north to close off the Bulge and relieve Bastogne, and then the Americans, supported by the British, were driving south.
One of these days we'll have to talk about how much of the movie Patton they actually got right, but that's a story for another day, certainly from somebody who saw it and loved it. Let's look forward here a little bit. We had the Germans who were basically they had English-speaking spies who were trying to work their way into the soldiers there at Bastogne, trying to infiltrate the ranks. We had America being caught off guard. So many things changed. If we move American strategy forward to today, what lessons did we learn from Bastogne in the Battle of the Bulge that we still put into practice today?
Well, I think getting good intelligence, knowing what the enemy's doing, knowing where their troop movements are, have an idea of their supply lines, reading their mail, so to speak. I think also making sure that American soldiers are well prepared in terms of food and clothing and ammunition. Most of the time in the 20th century, the United States of America, and even today also, does a great job. The military does a great job in supplying its troops. On a few days, they might be short, but in general, the food and the ammunition and the mail arrives on time.
Did we not also maybe learn a little bit something about our own war theater hubris, if you will, because many people thought we couldn't be beaten, we were the Americans. It was basically, and I know that some people thought this way back then, I've read some of the old papers, throw your helmet out into the field and you could go ahead and beat the enemy. But we learned a lot here about the enemy, about German strategy and about enemy strategy that really we put to use today and is still being taught in a lot of the war colleges, correct?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think number one is not to underestimate your enemy. I think by the time you get to December 1944, the Allies underestimated the German resourcefulness. And certainly today, when Americans are fighting counterinsurgency against an insurgency, a counterinsurgency there in Iraq and Afghanistan, it's always important to expect the unexpected.
What should we then, people looking back, Professor, they've only seen the movies, they've not really detailed a lot about it. 70 years later, we look back then, about the minute or so that we have left. What are the lessons that we haven't talked about here maybe, that people need to pull from that battle and what it meant overall, not only to victory in World War II, but to our society today?
Well, I think it's evidence of how resilient that greatest generation really was. In the first couple of days of the battle, these American soldiers took it on the chin. Many were captured, many were killed, many froze to death. But those that survived were able to regroup and counterattack. And I think it's really a tribute to that resiliency. And then I believe that the servicemen and women in uniform today share that same kind of resilience. And I think that's a lessons learned aspect of it. It's also a tribute.
Lessons learned well and a tribute indeed. I want to remind everybody of the book that you co-authored with Matthew Muehlbauer. It is Ways of War, American Military History from the Colonial Era to the 21st Century. That book and any other book that deals what happened in World War II, certainly in the Battle of the Bulge, fascinating work indeed. Professor, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. A very Merry Christmas to you and your family. Enjoy the holidays.
Thank you, and you likewise.
All right, take care. Just to remind everybody here in one postscript, we talk about the Battle of the Bulge here, and it's so tough to think 70 years back, why is it important? What the professor just said here about the military, about the resilience of the American military, 19,000 men were killed in action there, and more than 500,000 were wounded from the Battle of the Bulge. Think about those numbers for a moment and think about the sacrifice that they gave. A key battle in the war, and again, I think it's worth saying it's part of the reason why we are here today. Rock on, true believers. We thank our American servicemen and women around the world and those who have given of their lives and their time to make sure that we're able to sit here and do this show every single day. Friday Eve is coming up tomorrow, and only 2 days until Friday. We'll see you then, right back here on the show that questions everything on the Newsmax Network. This is MidPoint.